bitch. All right.
Guys, I got a rush game for you on Atacama Desert, and this is a weird one. I gotta tell you, it is so out of the ordinary. Just start off by checking out this spawn. I shoot that guy, I have this weird freeze time frame, I can't move, I'm stuck in a space-time continuum, and I get shot. And that really embodies what happens in this entire game. Now look, I have a 12 gauge shotgun shell that can absolutely outdo a sniper. I don't understand why exactly a 12 gauge can snipe people from across Atacama Desert, but for some reason DICE said that it was a good idea to do so why argue with DICE? Now guys, I know you might be saying, well, this is a really cheap setup using a shotgun that's virtually a sniper rifle at the same time. Well, I'm not going to disagree with you there, but as you guys know from my last video, I did ask you guys what specific setup I should be using. Oh, nice little double kill there. And we do eventually get that objective, this set of objectives, but moving on to why I'm using this setup. Alright, can't remember his name, but on my last video there was a guy that recommended that I used any shotgun with 12 gauge slugs and magnum ammo, any pistol. And believe it or not, this setup is very, very successful because, as you can see here, as I get that lurker in the corner, it will kill within 10 to 12 meters in one shot, but then beyond there you're going to need 2 shots. And I think that's the primary reason why a lot of people think that it's... I would not exactly go to the realm of overpowered. I would say that it's a little bit cheap and it leans towards ease of use. But it's not exactly an Abacon. And you guys know that I use the Abacon quite a bit in the past. But I just want to let you guys know that I'm not specifically using this particular shotgun on a regular basis. Just something that I use as a recommendation. So with that being said, I would like to ask you guys if you have any kind of setup that you'd like me to use. Whether it be an M1 Garand with some kind of irrelevant specialization, like M1 Garand with explosive damage and extra grenades or something like that, something very, very goofy, please let me know in the comments, and I'd be more than happy to appreciate and accommodate it. But I just want to thank you guys or thank that gentleman specifically for giving me a class that I could actually work with. Now, as you guys can see, it's not really a particularly accurate phrase when I say I was carrying my team this game. Let's just say my team was a 300-pound Asian man, and I had to drag them to the objective by their cankles. That's probably the most accurate description that I can give you. As you can see here, eventually my squad mates sort of got the idea, but I want to say with my team as a whole, they were just lost. And there you go again. Within 12 meters, I want to say between 10 and 13 meters, you are absolutely toast if I get you in my gun sights. There's one, and don't worry, I got gunned down. I'm not going to show you that part, but they had a lot of spawn campers, which you guys know I'm not particularly fond of, and as you can also see, I'm not exactly the best shot with this shotgun. Bit of a twister there. I get my sweet escape by parachuting off the edge of this large boat, or ship I should say. And really, oftentimes you'll see me with a shotgun. I'm not truly accurate with it, and I do like to zoom in so that my crosshairs are extremely tight, but I am pulling out my M9 quite a bit. You'll see that later on. I believe there's other instances and situations where I use my M9 instead of my shotgun just because I missed my first shot. And I see, in my personal opinion, it's always a better idea to do that. Instead of just trying to load another round back into the chamber with a pump, I would much rather just pull out my M9, try to finish you off that way, because I would consider myself sufficient with my M9. And as you can see here, those headshots, deadly. I mean, obviously that's a generic term because, like, oh, the headshots are so good, right? Well, obviously a headshot is very lethal to a human being. I think we can all accentuate that without my preaching towards you, but once we get the next set of objectives, I knew that the left side really wasn't going to work, so I flanked right side in a quad. Or a quad, as some people like to say. I actually like to say all-terrain vehicle, but that's a little technical. And I run over here and I get A, and I just lurk in the back next to these large stone and or ceramic and or cement blocks, and they are fine and dandy, to say the least. I know I sound like Forrest Gump when I say fine and dandy, and maybe I should be saying we was like peas and carrots, Jenny and I, but I think you guys realize that I am a big fan of cover that can really help you out, such as this lunar landing. Oh, I got that guy because he didn't see me. There you go. The secret of lurking. But I'm hiding behind. I actually think it's our some kind of artillery vehicle. But I like to think that it's some kind of space vehicle. Something that landed on Mars or on the moon. But I know that's just nothing but a fantasy. Now, there you go. M9. M9. There you go. And you guys know, I am by no means trying to brag about my skills with the M9. And there you go. Sometimes, I know I just said there you go about 6 times in the span of 30 seconds, but sometimes, if the guy's not looking at you, I'll load another round in the chamber of my shotgun, but if it's one-on-one, gotta pull out the sidearm. I'm sorry, but if you missed that first shot, gotta pull out the sidearm. And beyond that, once I got the first objective, we headed over to B, and my squad mate there served as a good decoy. He took the bullets, and then I finished the guy that killed him. But eventually I do set B, and then I had a little scuffle on the staircase with my teammate here. And believe it or not, my mic was not working this game because I didn't set it up in my PS3 settings before I started the game, and it was not working. So I got caught up on the stairs. I got this guy through a little crack in the wall, and then I got absolutely owned. But believe it or not, my squad mate, which he was not exactly the best Battlefield player, but he had the wherewithal to, I'm not sure if it was a 40mm grenade or a regular hand grenade, but he got that guy pretty quickly. And I do get that objective as well. So I got those 2 objectives on that specific objective set. And then these guys, there, I missed my first 2 shots. There you go. Finish him off with the M9. Never, ever, ever underestimate a man's sidearm. Especially if it's a 45 or an MP412 Rex. The MP412 Rex is just ridiculous. And we had a little bit of a scuffle here because they decided to spawn rush with tanks. And obviously I know I'm not going to get a particularly desirable result when I run out in front of a tank with a shotgun. And the C4 will work, but the C4 takes a little bit of planning. And I heard this guy was, there you go, M9 again. I hate to keep saying there you go and M9 coupling together, but I can't emphasize it enough. And see, they're just rolling around. I think they've got 2, and then once I blow up that guy's tank, he comes and he steals ours, and I'm not much of a tank guy, so I don't particularly like getting in them. But then again, I have 2 C4 left over, so I'm going to go ahead and pop those on the side of his vehicle and blow it up and get 1 kill. And you guys know that it's not always as satisfying getting 1 kill as getting like a quad if you're blowing up a Bradley. And I gotta say, it is just funny to see the kill feed when you get an anti-tank mine kill on a Bradley full of people. And I don't know what these guys were doing. I think they were shooting at, it was either a UAV or some kind of spaceship. And I am going to halt the spaceship references. I think I've said space lunar manding, space lunar manding. I can't even say landing. How pathetic is that? Sometimes my tongue, it just goes rogue and it says whatever it wants. I don't like particular stages where it does that, but I've got a very, very long tongue, and that is by no means some kind of sexual reference, because I'm not really into those references. But you know what I mean. Sometimes it's just, it's not like sleight of hand, it's like sleight of tongue, and my tongue just gets away from me and it just says whatever it wants. So instead of saying landing, I always say manding. Lord knows why. And believe it or not, guys, I set this objective 4 times before we got it exploded. And then this one, I don't even think it was one of my squad mates, it was just one of my teammates. He rolls up, the first time that he sets the objective, our entire team backs him, and we get it exploded. It's, I'm not going to say a moral of the story as in, life is not fair, children. It's just that it's a little odd, and as you can see, I absolutely fail here. Just fail. I get a hit marker, miss that guy, and I attempt to run away because I know I'm done, and I get hit with an M9. But it's just odd when you plant a bomb 4 times and they get defused 4 straight times, and then this other random teammate of yours strolls up slowly, sets it once, and then it explodes. It doesn't seem quite evenly distributed or fair, does it? But I believe this is the 2nd time or the 3rd time, but I'm not the one who explodes this last objective. And there was some other teammate of mine. I'm not sure if it was a teammate or a squad mate, but he got A pretty quickly. So B is just his final objective that we have to wrap up quite quickly. And, oh yeah, I forgot to mention to you guys, I'm going to be uploading some Call of Duty 4, believe it or not. Yes, Call of Duty 4, maybe a little bit of Modern Warfare, but I actually just moved into my dorm room. at the University of Colorado. I've got some compadres or friends here that are big COD players, so I might even get World at War. You never know. But I'm going to be playing a little bit of Call of Duty. I know that might infuriate some of you, but I want you to think of me as a first-person shooter guy, not exclusively a Battlefield guy, but I think most of the guys that watch me are fairly flexible when it comes to what I'm going to be uploading. But we do win, although it's still a glitch that says your team lost. Obviously, you can see that we blew up the objective with enough tickets left, and they also played the jolly music, so obviously we won. Not the best KD, but who cares about KD when you arm that many objectives? I want to thank you guys for watching. I will catch you next time with another commentary, and I will see you later.